Once upon a time, in the kingdom of Thornhaven, lived a brave princess named Rosalind. Rosalind was not like other princesses who wore silk gowns and danced at balls. She loved to ride horses through the forest and practice archery with her trusted bow. Her father, the king, often said she had the heart of a warrior. One golden afternoon, Rosalind rode deep into the whispering woods beyond the castle walls. The trees grew thick and ancient, and sunlight barely touched the mossy ground below. She discovered a tall stone tower covered in climbing ivy and purple wildflowers. The tower door hung open, as if waiting for someone to enter after many years. Rosalind felt a strange pull in her heart and stepped inside the mysterious tower. Stone steps spiraled upward into darkness, and she climbed them one by one carefully. At the top, she found a round chamber filled with dusty books and faded tapestries. In the center of the room lay a knight in silver armor, sleeping on a stone bed. His face was peaceful and handsome, with dark hair falling across his closed eyes. Rosalind approached slowly and noticed he was breathing softly, as if in deep dreams. A golden plaque on the wall read, "Knight Theron sleeps under enchantment until true love knows his heart." Beside the bed sat a wooden chest filled with leather journals covered in dust. Rosalind carefully opened the first journal and began to read the knight's own words. Theron had written about his love for justice and protecting those who could not fight. He described rescuing children from a burning village and giving his food to the hungry. He wrote poems about the beauty of morning light and the song of forest birds. Rosalind felt her heart warm as she read page after page through the afternoon. She returned the next day, and the next, always reading more of Theron's journals. She learned he loved white roses and believed kindness was the greatest strength of all. He had been cursed by the dark sorcerer Morpheus for refusing to serve evil. The curse trapped him in endless sleep, and only true love could break the spell. But the love had to be real, knowing his true heart, not just his handsome face. Rosalind visited the tower every day for 2 weeks, reading and learning about Theron. She felt she knew him better than anyone she had ever met in the world. His words made her laugh, and sometimes brought tears to her eyes with their beauty. One evening, she whispered to the sleeping knight about her own dreams and fears. She told him about her love of freedom and how she felt different from other princesses. Days turned into weeks, and Rosalind realized she had fallen deeply in love with him. She loved not his armor or his title, but the goodness she found in his words. One night, under the full moon, she returned to the tower with white roses. She placed the roses beside his sleeping form and knelt by the stone bed.
Theron, I know your heart. You are brave and kind and see beauty in smallest things. You believe protecting others is the highest honor a knight can have. I love you not for your face, but for the beautiful soul within.
Tears fell from her eyes as she leaned close and kissed his forehead gently. Golden light suddenly burst from the sleeping knight, filling the entire tower room with warmth. The light wrapped around Theron like a gentle wave, and his eyes slowly opened. He looked up and saw Rosalind's face above him glowing in the magical golden light. "You know me," he whispered in wonder, sitting up and looking into her eyes deeply.
I read your journals. I know your heart, and your dreams, and everything you believe with all my soul.
Theron reached up and gently touched her cheek, his eyes filled with amazement and gratitude. "I dreamed of you," he said softly, his voice still hoarse from the long, enchanted sleep.
I dreamed someone would see me truly, and love me for who I am inside.
He stood slowly testing his legs after years of motionless sleep in the tower. Rosalind helped him steady himself, and they stood together in the moonlit chamber, smiling.
The sorcerer Morpheus said, "No one would ever break his curse upon me."
He believed no one could love someone they had never spoken to or seen awake.
But he was wrong. True love sees the heart, not just the face, or the words spoken aloud.
Together, they descended the spiral stairs and stepped out into the cool night air. The forest seemed to celebrate with them as fireflies danced and owls hooted joyfully overhead. Rosalind brought Theron to the castle where her father welcomed him with open arms. The king declared a celebration for the brave princess who broke an impossible curse. Theron knelt before the king and pledged his sword to protect the kingdom forever. But he also pledged his heart to Rosalind the princess, who truly knew his soul. They were married in the castle garden, surrounded by white roses and singing birds. Rosalind wore a gown of silver-like armor and carried her bow alongside her bouquet. Theron wore his polished armor and a crown of white roses in his dark hair. The entire kingdom celebrated the marriage of the warrior princess and the awakened knight. They ruled together with wisdom and kindness, protecting all who needed their help and strength. Rosalind still rode through the Whispering Woods, but now Theron rode beside her always. They visited the old tower often and kept Theron's journals safe as treasured memories. At night, they would read the journals together and add new pages about their adventures. They wrote about the battles they fought together and the people they saved from darkness. They wrote about the children they taught to be brave and kind, like them both. Years passed, and their love grew deeper like roots of an ancient, mighty oak tree. The kingdom of Thornhaven prospered under their rule, filled with peace and joy and light. And in the Whispering Woods, the old tower stood as a reminder to all who passed. True love is not found in a moment, but in truly knowing another's heart completely. It is patient, and it listens, and it sees beyond the surface into the soul. Rosalind and Theron proved that the strongest magic in all the world is understanding love. And they lived happily ever after, protecting their kingdom and each other until their final days.